everyone. Just gonna check how far the mic needs to be because I'm the first, I'm the guinea pig. Poetry is technology. Poetry was our first ever information technology. It gave us the constraints to be able to take information from one generation to the next. It allowed us to rhyme, and that's what the talk is about. The message is the medium. Shout out McLuhan, my favorite Canadian. I'm Canadian. Yeah. And how you say something matters way more than what it is. It controls everything. It controls us. It controls our nervous system. The printing press, huge for the program. It was a distribution medium. It essentially flattened the emotion that poetry had, but it allowed things to go places. Then we got the radio and we got TV. People said radio took away their ears and TV took away their ears and eyes. And now we have the infinite scroll, which is, taking away all our attention. We'll do anything for psychological safety. We are so afraid of uncertainty. We'll click on all the things, and the aggregate of all of our insecurities is essentially what we see all the time on the internet, which is insane. Like crazy. I think Sam Altman said it well, that algorithmic feeds are the first at-scale misaligned AIs. The medium itself is misaligned. We're hallucinating. People have seen that video on Twitter, right? Like, not great. People are going into psychosis. This is because human beings are just not psychologically interested in the truth. We are interested in the elimination of uncertainty. Our nervous systems are just not boding well. There's this father in Yemen burned a hole through his son's chest because he was afraid of uncertainty around the disease, because he thought it would fix him. Nietzsche called this the will to truth. Isn't that insane? Mediums exploit our uncertainty elimination drive. Poetry gave us time and space to question our assumptions. And now the space between questions and answers with the infinite scroll is just not there. But Rebecca Solnit here has a little bit of a solution for us, that in the spaciousness of uncertainty is room to act. And we forget that this is actually an opportunity to rebuild, to go from efficiency to adaptability, to really exercise our agency, because uncertainty is not our enemy. Certitude can be paralyzing in either direction, whether optimistic or pessimistic. And I really like this quote by Kurt Vonnegut: "We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be." And we keep having these solutions around add some friction, regulations, new algorithms, but we keep going horizontally from one medium to the other, but it's literally just from one treadmill to the other. But what we really need to do is go vertically, because transcendence is vertical. And the question I'll pose here is that how can we go from optimizing for certainty elimination to adapting for uncertainty comfort? That is the real question that we're dealing here with. But I don't know what the transcendent medium is actually going to be. I know that the medium is a message. I know that AI is in the air, in the zeitgeist. I know we need spaciousness, but I think we're kind of all in it together, and we need to look at this as an opportunity to build together. I do know that it's supposed to be in this cultural scaffolding. If I get a dumb phone, but my friends didn't get a dumb phone, I'm going to be on Instagram the next day because of FOMO, because human beings are driven by love and belonging. It has to be in the culture. This is a shameless self-promotion. I invest in a lot of uncertainty to deal with it. This is Mike, who's working on Buddhist phenomenology with science, as well as Omar, who's working on the anatomy of an internet argument and how that leads to economic revolutions. I also know that it has to be strategic ignorance instead of first principles. If we were to go build a new car, first principles would be let's just build a better car. But strategic ignorance, beginner's mind, tells us you might just, to get from point A to point B, invent teleportation. I do know that we need to garden instead of build. We need to garden for emergence. We need to nurture. We need to let context inform the form rather than build from the top down. We need to really hear and see and feel what the world really needs. And I do know that it has to be transformative instead of derivative. This is a framework that comes from US copyright law. Transformative stuff is, paradigm shifting. Derivative is within the same paradigm. It needs to be at a high enough leverage point to actually be transformative. So I'll pose a question. We're all stakeholders in this world of media theory and all. And don't be a sheep. And how can we really work on transcendent, transformative mediums together? That's it. Thank you.